Hey guys, what's going on? Absolute Beast here, bringing you guys 2 races today on Forza 7. So these 2 races are in the IndyCar class in the multiplayer. And it's a miracle I didn't install the car right there. So these are on, like I said, IndyCar class, which is a really fun multiplayer hopper class. It's one of the most fun ones that I've found. It's just fun to race, something in the X class, something that's really, a higher end car, and something that handles really well and goes real fast. I mean, these aren't Formula 1 cars by any means. Look at that, man. Excuse me. I mean, I'm in first place at that point, or, fighting for first. And, yeah, see, there's all sorts of issues for me with... So because I use the clutch, which nobody uses in this class, any issue like that is going to be a problem when I start to, struggle to get the car back going again. I don't know. So, by the way, if I sound a little bit different, it's because my mic is in a little bit different placement. Who would have thought that the cheapo mic arm and shock mount that I have to mount the mic would have broken? It's literally been like 45 days since I set it up, and it already broke. And so now my mic is just laying on my desk. I have this nice, expensive microphone and setup, and I literally just have the mic just sitting on my desk. So hopefully it sounds okay. I did a couple tests, so it should be okay, but just in case it sounds a little bit different. So, this is Bathurst, which is one of my favorite tracks. I absolutely love this track. It's in Australia. It's one of the races that they do on public roads, which is real cool. But yeah, this was, when I saw this pop up, I had to race it. And I don't know why it went this way, but this was actually the second race I did. The other race that's after this was before this one, so I'm actually much more comfortable with the car in this race than I will be in the next one, just because I had raced a few races already at this point. So now, you see how I just didn't shift right there? I was actually having an issue coming into that corner for whatever reason with the shifting. I don't know why it was doing that, but I was having an issue with the car not shifting. And only in that one specific place. I'm not sure. Generally, when it's... See, this thing handles really nicely, though. But see, when you... Generally, when that happens, when it doesn't shift or something like that, it's just you're not hitting the button correctly. In this case, it was only in that one specific place, so I'm not sure if there was something with my hand placement in that corner that made it do that, but yeah, so anyway, this was really fun. I was racing with these guys earlier. I raced with them for a bunch of races. The one that you'll see after this on Monza was actually my first race in IndyCar. These guys were terrible, man. These guys were some of the worst drivers that I've ever driven with. Truly and honestly, it felt like I was in a training lobby. Like, it felt like I was in, a Welcome to Forza Motorsport lobby. I'm not joking when I say the driving was that bad. It was absolutely disgustingly terrible. There was 1 or 2 guys that were doing okay, but literally everybody else, it was just an absolute disaster. And so I was constantly getting the fastest laps or near the fastest laps and ending up in 5th place, 7th place. I was just getting hit and taken out, and it was just ridiculous. So I was chirping a little bit at these guys. I had a few choice words for a few of them after they did some stuff to me. And yeah, so this tune here, as you see him pulling away from me, this tune is a grip tune. So before I was using a tune for Le Mans, which is fine, but it's yeah, I didn't mean to bump him there. Which is more of a speed tune for Le Mans, so it's not going to have as much downforce or as much cornering potential. So after I used that for a few races, I actually was getting kind of used to it and was still doing well. And then I decided to try and get this one. It's a little bit difficult when you're in there to download a tune because it takes all in all probably takes 15 or 20 seconds, and sometimes you don't get back to the race screen right away. So the timing can be tough to try and go on the leaderboard, find a tune from the guy that you want to download it, and install it. And purchase all the parts, because a lot of times when you buy a tune for the first time, you have to purchase the parts to homologate it, which, well, not to homologate it, because the homologated parts are included in the price of the car, but a lot of times you have to purchase the specific parts that guy used on the car. For example, if he widened the tires slightly, if that was allowed by the homologation rules, if he widened the tires slightly, or if he changed the spark plugs, or the ignition system or something, just to get a little more power out of the car or whatever. Or it took a little bit of weight out or something like that, change the wheels, whatever it is. So, yeah, so anyway, it was a little time-consuming to try to do that, so it took me a couple of races. I probably raced with the Le Mans tune for, probably 5 races, maybe, 4 or 5 races, and then I downloaded this, and this thing was handling really well. I mean, it was handling like I would expect an X car to handle, and it was just blowing the doors off these guys, so... As you can see, I was all the way back in 5th. I mean, after that massive crash, and then I stalled the car like 4 times trying to get back on the track. And now I've come all the way back up to 2nd, and I do have 1st there in my eyes, in my sights. I don't remember if I caught him or not, but yeah, I mean, just a real fun track overall, and a fun class overall. I mean, these are not, like, I don't know how to really explain these cars. Like, they handle similarly to, like, a Formula 1 car, kind of. But they're much less responsive. They don't have anywhere near the downforce. And even though they have a ton of downforce, and they're just a little bit different. They're just a little more loose. And I kind of like that. I've been liking the lower classes recently, because sometimes the Lotus, man, I call it the Lotus every time, dude. The Renault, the F1 car, can be a handful a lot of the time. And so it's nice to drive something like this, which is not a handful. And I was actually really surprised how easy this thing was to drive. And honestly, even the Le Mans Tune, which is really built for speed and has, you know, probably 0 downforce, or very close to no downforce. Well, I should say the lowest downforce possible. And that was a terrible turn. But that's one of those weird corners where, like, the weight of the car and the suspension of the car can get you, because if you're not familiar with the car, same with this corner. That's why I had to keep lifting off there, because I wasn't quite sure how to make that work, and that was awesome, wasn't it? So yeah, so, you know, getting used to the car is, you know, you can drive the car for whatever period of time, but just, you know, how the car's going to behave as you take little bumps and undulations like that. Like, as you come through that downhill, there's lots of level changes, lots of different changes and ups and downs and stuff, and it's really hard to know exactly how the car's going to behave. So when you're going, you know, 140, it's a little tough to know how much you can lift off to come through a corner. And I was just still a little unsure of the car, because this is the first time I drove this tune. So it was definitely a little bit of a learning experience. But yeah, I mean, really fun class to drive in. I did this rival event in the Indy car. It wasn't on this track, but it was on some other track. I did the rival event, which kind of made me enjoy the Indy car. And then yeah, so let's check the lap times here. That was an almost flawless turn there at the end. So let's check the lap time. So 1:39.9, and I need to pick a track real quick. So see, look at that. I was 3.5 seconds faster than first place. Now, I didn't get a clean lap, but that put me at 168. But if it had been clean, it probably would have put me at around like 13 or 14. So, I mean, that was a good time for me, top 15 time. And there's a lot more people that race this track, over 2,000, than have raced the other tracks that I race when I'm using this kind of series or using any other kind of car. So that was pretty good. And then this one here, this is the one that was my first race, actually. And so, as you'll see, I don't do too well here. I'm pretty sure I do stall the car, but I'm in the back. So, and with this car, I knew it was going to stall, but I don't want to take the clutch off. So I pretty much stalled it, and then I kept pumping the clutch so I could get it going. And then I ended up starting in near the beginning for a couple of races, and it was giving me problems. So, and I actually thought it was the turn version of the track right there. So I ended up not going fast enough. And then ironically, later, we raced the same track again, a couple races later, and I did actually just the opposite. See, like that. I mean, look, like, that's a fast corner, and he's trying to worry about that other guy, but, like, I was trying to pass him on the outside, and then he does that. You know, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? So, yeah, this one, there's some bad driving in this one for sure. Like I said, I honestly felt like I was in a trainer lobby, like a mess around type lobby for people who have never played the game before, because the driving was that bad. Well, that guy was decent. I had a couple good battles with him on later races. And actually, you will see me do something in this video that You will see me do something in this video that I don't normally do, and I do very, very rarely. I've only done it maybe 2-3 times in the last 6 months, and I never ever do it. But I had to this time around, because it was completely blatant on the part of the guy who did it, and I wasn't going to tolerate that. So yeah, I mean, as you see, some of these guys are just real slow. And, you know, other than that little bit of stalling at the beginning, and see, he tried to take me out there. Which, when I saw him back there, I saw he was trying to draft off of me. I was like, nah, dude, I'm not going to let you draft off of me. So I was just giving him a little bit of a difficult time so he wouldn't be able to draft off of me. And then I messed up a shift because I've never used this car before. I thought it was maybe a 5-speed. Look at that, man. Look at that garbage. Like, what are you doing to me, dude? Like, I can't... I mean... You know, when you come in here and you're trying to race, and, you know, I wouldn't expect anything different from a guy whose name is Marijuana420. Like, give me a break, bro. You're on Xbox. No one on Xbox has ever seen or played with a stoner before. I'm sure none of you guys that play Xbox have ever seen anybody on here that was a stoner-esque name or that you thought smoked weed, because it's very, 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 very uncommon. It's extremely rare to encounter someone who talks about 420 or Blaze It or any of that stuff. It's really uncommon. So that guy really stuck out to me because his name was so unique. And look how quickly I caught him. After a massive crash, I was backwards. And it was a massive, massive crash. And look at this, I'm already back to him. That's how terrible he is. So, you know, it's races like this, honestly, that really sort of upset me. But also make me, you know, just, it's one of these that, you know, like, it's fun to race these, but, like, when that kind of stuff happens, like, this is what was happening for, like, the next 5-6 races, is I was racing very cleanly and getting the fastest laps by a long shot. That last race, I had the fastest lap by 3.5 seconds, which is a massive amount of time. That's a huge lead. 3.5 seconds. And to have that and to come in 3rd or 4th place, you know, just because people don't know how to just keep their cars to themselves, and that was a terrible turn. So this guy, the one that's ahead of me right now, this France guy is the one who I end up having a little altercation with. And it's the guy behind me. I couldn't tell if he was mad at me or not. I couldn't really hear him when I was playing, and I was just too focused on the race to even bother telling him that I couldn't hear him. But I do end up intentionally crashing this guy off in front of me, which is not something that I recommend at all in any situation. This one, look, I tried to pass him, and look what he does. He goes and clips me and smashes me into the wall. So it's like, okay, dude, maybe there was miscommunication here. And then he does it again. And it's like, no, dude. No. So check this out. Yeah. If you're going to take me out like that, and you're going to intentionally try to block me, like, look, I get it, okay? You're not going to give up a position when you're racing. I completely understand that. And I'm a very, very clean driver, and I never recommend anything but clean driving, because all that happens is you end up causing that to happen again. So by doing that, I'm basically taking the risk that he might do it again. But at this point, I've already been taken out a couple times in this race by a couple different people, and for him to do that to me twice, when obviously I was screaming past him, I was way faster than him, and for him to come up and do that to me, and block me, and then block me again on lap 3 out of 5. Like, it's not like it's the end of the race and I'm trying to put a quick move on him to finish ahead of him. Like, we're at the middle point of the race, and he's doing something like that to try and block me. Like, it's completely not okay. And for him to do that twice, the first time I gave him a pass. Most people would have rammed him off after the first time, but I gave him a pass thinking like, oh, maybe there's a misunderstanding. Like, maybe I was trying to pass him on the right and he thought that I was going to go on the left, and so he tried to get to the right to get out of my way, which is fine. I mean, I was mad, but it's fine. And then to have him do it again, to try to pass him then again on the other side, and he does the same thing, it's just like, I don't think so, dude. I do not think so. And you're not going to play that kind of game with me. I'm not playing that game. I'm not in here to race like that. I'm here to race and have a good time, and you know, race cleanly and put down some good times and have fun racing with people. And I get that not everybody's the same skill level, but if you're going to do something like that to me on purpose twice in 20 seconds, I don't think so, dude. I'm not going to take that. Just not going to take it. And the reason that this cylinder guy behind me was piping up was because it happened right in front of him. It happened like 2 feet in front of him. And luckily it was just, you know, it was like a game of pinball on my part. I just slammed into the guy real hard. He went left, I went right, and the guy just went right through the middle. So it didn't affect him. But I don't know if he saw it coming or what, but he sort of avoided it. He was good at avoiding it. So, I mean, like I said, I never do that. A couple times this year, maybe. And it's always, I mean, it's never justified, I'll say that. But in this case, I had it. I was really upset. And all I'm trying to do is come in here and race and have a fun time with the game, and I'm not trying to have someone do that to me and block me twice. I mean, obviously, I'm extremely, extremely much faster than him. I don't know why I said extremely. But especially when I'm way faster than him, there's no reason to be doing that kind of stuff. Oh, my goodness. It's like, this guy, I'm trying to be respectful, and see, he does the same thing. I'm trying to be respectful. I barely tapped into the back of him, and then I lift off to let him go, and then I try to pass him, and he does the same thing. So it's just like, I don't get why this happens in every race. So I don't even know. Who knows? Anyway, it was a lot of fun racing. Thanks, guys, for being here and watching this. Can't say that I am proud to put this one up, honestly, but it was my first race with this car, and I don't know. I mean, I did, like, what I felt like doing in the moment, which was wrong, but given the same circumstances, I don't know if I might do it again. But anyway, I appreciate you guys checking this out. Make sure you subscribe if you like my videos. Check back soon for another video. And, yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. See you next time.